Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Davide. I'm a champion popular investor with eToro, soon to be promoted to elite. And this video is going to be extremely short because I just want to go through a couple of trades that I made in the month of April, how well we have done, because we've done well, that's good. And then what I think what is happening in the markets, because obviously, as you can all tell, the fear of inflation is just dragging everything down. And then there is Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, Elon Musk. There is a lot to talk about. So let's just break it down into digestible chunks, shall we? Okay, so first of all, in the month of April, I've opened quite a few positions, especially in the solar space. I think renewable energy is inevitable. The governments will have to support it quite heavily in the near future. And also, I was thinking that it is possible that they're going to use the spare energy that it's not consumed, that it's not sold, that it's not put to a good use, to probably mine some Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all of these other cryptocurrencies that can be mined with just a little bit of electricity. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna get into the proof of stake because that's not really mining. It's called differently and it doesn't really consume that much energy, and that's why Elon Musk likes it that much. But Bitcoin, maybe a small operation that can just scoop in a couple of Bitcoins here and there, it is totally possible. So yeah, keep an eye on that one. And especially with all of these carbon emissions and fossil fuels, obviously the world is waking up to something that is not sustainable in the long term. So very, very bullish on solar. And I think it's a trend that is going to manifest itself this year and the next 10 years. So very, very happy with the purchase. Unfortunately, we are down, but we're not here to time the market. With dollar cost averaging, I bought quite a lot, and now we see where it goes. I'm not in a rush, and I couldn't be more supportive and more bullish on this one. So no issues there, even if we're down a little bit at first. Along the same lines of something that I've recently bought and that is going to take time to manifest and to actually come into play is genomics. Look at Invita, for example. It's a very solid company. I think it's going to lead the space in the testing, and it's going to get a lot of recognition sooner or later. It's also one of the favorite stocks by Katie Wood, so were we to challenge her views. Now, obviously, we have to stress test everything that that is presented to us, but I also think that it's got a huge upside potential in a space that is not been developed as much as it should have, because it's been overtaken by clean energy last year, or EV, or cryptocurrencies. So everyone's lost track of this for now, but I think it's going to come back very strong, and I think it's going to leave a mark in the next 6 to 12 months. So happy to have it, happy to hold it until fundamentals change. And we also scooped up some of the Nvidia stocks. This is a semiconductor play, so we're seeing shortage in this space, but also gaming and graphics. It's just a very rounded 360% play, which I'm very in love with and will probably be holding for the foreseeable future. As you know, I'm a very long-term investor, so I don't care if we're just down a few percentage points at first or in the first couple of months. It's fine. As long as the fundamentals don't change, I'm very happy to hold. Then I also managed to scoop up some Airbnb. I think it's a reopening stock. I really like it. I think it's got a huge upside potential. It's gonna take time to play out, you know, and that's totally fine. We have to be patient, you know, this rotation to value stocks as opposed to growth stocks, and rotation to reopening stocks. Airbnb is one of these, but it's obviously been penalized because of its recent gains, recent IPOs, so people are still trying to put a price tag to it. But I have no issues and no doubt that this stock will dominate in the next 6 to 12 months. So yeah, I'm probably gonna be buying more in the next month in order to dollar cost averaging, because it's gone down recently together with all of the other Nasdaq stocks. So it's totally fine. It's totally fine if the market wants to sell off a little bit and shake off the weekends. By all means, you know, I'd be your guest. Okay, and then last but not least, I opened a very small position. This is actually a short position on the Nasdaq, just to hedge a little bit. Unfortunately, we are making money on that one, which means that we're losing money elsewhere. I was actually hoping not to make money on that short position that we have on the Nasdaq, but it is fine. It's just an edge. I'm probably gonna close it out as soon as the fear of inflation will disappear from the market, which I don't think is gonna happen next week or in a couple of weeks time, but eventually we will come to terms with the fact that there is inflation, that the Fed is not gonna raise interest rates simply because they can't afford it. But this is a whole different conversation that we can have, right? And then, so we closed the month with a net profit of 2.72, which is fine. I'm pretty happy with it, to be completely honest with you. If we had the 2.72% every month for the year, we will be looking at 26-27%. So that's totally fine as long as we're beating the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq, which is really what I compare my returns against, because it's way better than the S&P in my mind. But it is, everyone's got their take on this one. And as long as we're beating those two indices, then I'm totally fine with the performance, and so should you. A couple of words around what's happening with crypto. Unfortunately, obviously, you guys have seen what's happening with Elon Musk and all of that jazz. He first said that Tesla was accepting Bitcoin. They bought like maybe $1.5 billion or something on those lines for a price level of 20K. They've been accumulating a lot, and then they sold 10%, and the crypto market just went ballistic at them. They were like, oh, you got weekends, So unfortunately, the crypto space is not as healthy as you would think, especially on Twitter. I spend quite some time on Twitter just following the key people to keep track of, Elon Musk, but also the Bitcoin Maxi and everyone that is actually a strong voice in this space. And I see that unfortunately, these people, when they say that they sell, they're put under a lot of pressure. And therefore, because they're billionaires, at the end of the day, they're all humans, right? So, and they feel pressure, and it's not really helpful, because then they make strong decisions such as stop accepting Bitcoin. I don't think that this decision was actually purely his own decision. I think someone else has played a part in this one. Well, it's a known fact that some of the revenues are generated by selling carbon credits to other companies. So, I mean, they probably got slapped on the wrist saying, why are you supporting this new currency, which is allegedly bad for the environment? My stance on this one is that it's actually not. I have the same opinion as the Square's report that was issued just a few weeks back, where it basically says, it makes the argument for cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, to actually be a good thing for the space overall in terms of energy consumption, and because it's going to drive innovation into this space. At the end of the day, if you're a miner, you have one cost, which is energy. So miners, what they do is they look for the cheapest energies, right? And the cheapest energy is renewable, so solar, wind, water. We're looking at all of these things, right? So, and they always find ways, and they try to find ways to innovate the extraction and the generation of these types of energy so that they can have better returns. The bottom line is directly impacted by what their costs are. So I actually think it's a good thing long term. Obviously, we're gonna get there, but more than 70% of the Bitcoin is mined using clean energy, as well as, obviously renewable and clean energy, and in places where it would otherwise go to waste. So still extremely bullish on the cryptocurrency world. Bitcoin is taking a hit, it's losing dominance in this space because there is a lot of new retail customers that are seeing Bitcoin. They're like, oh, it's too big, or it's too expensive. But I don't think this is long-lived, and eventually we will come back to a Bitcoin dominance environment. I have good words for Ethereum, I have good words for Cardano, I have good words for Polkadot, but eventually there will be one or two winners. We're looking at Ethereum, Cardano, and Polkadot, and then there's new challenges every couple of months that are coming up. So you need to be extremely careful when investing in these protocols, because Bitcoin is one. I know Bitcoin Maxi, don't take me wrong, but Bitcoin is one, and it's got a limited supply. Now all of these new retail customers are going after whatever they think it's going to give them the higher returns, which is totally fine. I mean, as an investor, you should probably seek returns. That's totally fine. But sometimes they make a mistake of just looking at the price. when Bitcoin we start to be priced in Satoshis as opposed to full Bitcoin, we're gonna see an acceleration that we've never seen before. Now, is it happening? I've seen a trend on Twitter going like this, but obviously CoinGecko needs to get on board, and all of the other exchanges, as well as places where you check the price of the currency. Then you're gonna have a price-driven effect, which doesn't make sense on paper, but unfortunately we've seen this working extremely well. And you see this in the stock market as well when it comes to splits and stuff. So when Amazon is gonna split, you know, the two businesses, AWS and retail corporate, whatever, and then but also Berkshire, I think unfortunately we could probably see something along those lines there, and it's something that you could probably take advantage of. It's not really investing, it's a little bit of gambling there, so I'm not quite sure whether it fits our strategy. Okay, I think that would be all. Overall, yeah, it's just short-term volatility, which is the price that you have to pay in order to be in this space. So let it all go and you'll be fine.